Should you use microservices? Most likely not. There's a lot of confusion around the microservice architecture. And a lot of that comes from using the terms service and microservice interchangeably. But services existed already in the last century. Microservices are something completely new. The main point of microservices or microservice architecture is to move fast, right? So you want to add bits and pieces quickly. And microservices allow you to do that without depending on or coordinating with other teams or having to know all the details of the existing application or being restricted to the same technology when different technology is much better suited for this use case. You don't have to push the huge application to the build pipeline and waiting for hours. And that's somewhat similar to operating systems. Think of Microsoft, a huge system delivered by a single provider. So every change of the system has to go through Microsoft, and you need to be familiar with the existing system. Now, Linux, on the other hand, provides a small core, and everyone adds bits and pieces around it. So if you want to add new functionality that doesn't require changes in the core, you just write your own application, service, whatever you want to call it. In order for a microservice architecture to be beneficial for you, some conditions need to be true. Most and foremost, a service needs to be created, deployed, and operated like this. High effort is a killer for microservice architecture. And last but not least, developers need some experience with this architecture because microservices must not depend on each other. If you have like 100, 1,000 or more services and all depend on each other, then you completely defeated the purpose of a microservice architecture. So if your environment doesn't meet those conditions, then a microservice architecture is not good for you. That doesn't mean that you can't create any services at all. If, for instance, your application does a lot of processing in the background, you could extract that part and put it in a separate service. But that's not the same as microservice architecture.